Good morning. This is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN. Saturday morning programming is brought to you by Outlook Financial Center. Up now, it's time for the Mayor's Report, and with me this morning is Marty Baker. Good morning.
Good morning, Clint.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Kind of a busy week this week already. Had council on Monday.
We did have council on Monday, and it was a full agenda. We had several rezonings. We had a lot of resolutions and things, so we can do a quick recap of those.
All right.
If you'll recall, the last time that I was here, we talked about an agreement with the Miami County Board of Commissioners for a water line extension to Upper Valley Medical Center, and that is going into its third reading at the August 20th meeting of council. Council approved several resolutions. There was a heat pump replacement project for the Troy Police Department due to some aging equipment and difficulty getting parts. We approved an LPA agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation regarding the West Main Street corridor improvements that are scheduled for fiscal year 2022. And any time that we have any kind of state work being done on our roadways through the city, why the council has to approve that work even though we are not spending any money on the
Okay.
So we also then approved the overlay project for 2020, and that's within the highway I-75 within the city limits, and they're going to do, just resurface that area. Another piece of consent legislation regarded the State Route 55 structural bridge repairs. And again, these are scheduled out a few years. That's scheduled for 2020 as well. And so the state needs those approvals early because they have to get their engineering plans and everything in place then once it's approved.
And what else did council cover this Monday?
Well, they approved a small business development loan to Ryu Juicery that's here on the square. They are planning to expand their business a bit in the same building area. And the small business development loans are used as a revolving loan fund, and as it's repaid, then it would be lent out to other businesses for their purposes. We did several ordinances. There was a rezoning of 1823 Peters Road. That was formerly the Robinson estate, and Bart Denlinger is the applicant there. And they're rezoning that from an R1 to an R3 residential area. Council approved the rezoning of 10797 Washington Road, which was formerly owned by Barbara Ernst Wilson, and it's adjacent to Fox Harbor out there. And that also is going to an R3 single-family residential. Then, in conjunction with Kettering Health construction, White Council approved vacating Jackson Street, which is a short north-south street off of West Water Street that runs between Adams and Elm. And they also approved vacating an alley that runs between Jackson Street and Adams Street. And then also what's known as a keyhole section of West Water Street, which amounts basically to like a crosswalk size area. And what it does is connects the south side to the north side of their property so that they can go ahead with some engineering plans and things for the north side of that property.
Okay.
The last ordinance that we approved was a sign code change. It just equalizes the size of the sign for each tenant in a multi-tenant building. So if you've got 4 or 5 tenants in the same building,
all the signs will be
all the signs can be the same, or at least they would all have equal. Even if they were the last one to move in, there would still be signage available for you.
Gotcha.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, there was a public hearing this week, too, that was held for the rezoning of the Piqua-Troy Road from agricultural, residential, and office commercial to planned development.
Yes, and that's Frank Harlow's property. And it will eventually, once that gets approved, why then it would be known as Halifax Villas and would be intended for housing for empty nesters, so the smaller homes.
Okay.
And then he also has plans a retirement community there. So, but that plan development portion of that, all council's approving at this point is the actual rezoning. And then once that's completed, why then he will come back with a plan development to explain exactly what they're going to do out there.
Gotcha. Now, in the past week, we had National Night Out. That was Tuesday night.
Yes, several neighborhoods took part in that and seemed to be a success.
And in last weekend as well, what a busy weekend we had here in Troy. But Hayner Cultural Center had their Arts Alive. And something else kind of happened at the same time, too, which is Linda Lee Jolly, who has been at the helm of the Hayner for many, many years, has retired.
Right. Saturday was her last actual work day. She said she really picked a good one. She had a really busy day. And the mayor and city council wish her a long and happy retirement. She's really been an asset to that organization, and I think has well prepared David Wyan to take the helm.
Well, I don't think Linda will disappear. I think we'll still see her over at the Hayner.
She's a busy person,
yes.
So I'm sure we'll see her out and about. Yeah.
Well, more activities coming up here in Troy. Your annual paving program, that's getting underway.
That is underway. Several streets have already been milled and prepared for the paving. So within the next few weeks, we'll see quite a bit of that done. If anyone is interested in seeing a list of the streets, why that is available on the city website at troyohio.gov.
Okay.
So,
and you've also welcomed a new operator at the wastewater treatment plant.
Joseph Phillips began this past week, and we welcome him to the staff. He'll be working as one of the operators there at the wastewater treatment plant. Also, the park board meets this week, and as all city meetings, well, those are open to the public.
And everyone's always invited to attend those.
Right.
The public meetings, I mean, that's the time that people can get out and voice their opinion.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see, then also this past week, as you mentioned, National Night Out, and the police officers were in charge of that this year, and they made their rounds at the different neighborhoods and things.
And that's a good thing to get not only to get the neighborhoods together and people really get a chance to meet their neighbors, but it's getting the law enforcement involved as well around through the neighborhoods. So people get a chance to meet the officers, and the kids can see the officers and see what they're really there for, and that's to protect us.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a friendly atmosphere.
Absolutely. More entertainment coming up on Prouty Plaza.
Friday night is a group called Aja that features the music of Steely Dan. All of our concerts this summer have been well attended, and we hope that the weather holds out for this one.
And another big thing happening this in Miami County, the fair kicks off.
That's always a big deal
Yes.
in the county, and they'll be open all week long, and there's a lot of good entertainment there as well, as long as a lot of farm activities and 4-H activities and things going on. It's important for the farming community, but it's fun for the city kids to get out there and see the animals as well. And
it's fun for the big kids to get out and take a look at it.
Definitely is. I try to go every year.
Now, Sunday down at Treasure Island, the Troy Civic Band.
Right. They'll be performing at 7:30, and bring your chairs and enjoy the concert. It's good.
There's plenty of things going on, and not only do we have the Festival of Nations, that's coming up that's just next weekend.
August 18th
Yeah.
is Festival of Nations. That takes place over by the football stadium. And then on the 19th is the Mayor's Concert downtown Troy at Prouty Plaza. And then the following weekend is Tour du Donut, which will be a day of bicycle racing and eating donuts and lots of music. And they've got a lot of, I think, all day long when they have bands coming in.
Absolutely. That's all the fun stuff right there. You think of coming to the end of summer and that you kind of wind down, but it seems like we get busier in downtown Troy the closer we get to the end of summer.
Yeah, we do. We take it right up to the end of summer, and school's starting in another couple of weeks, and football games. We'll be back
to, do you say normal?
No, there is no normal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Marty, thank you so much for stopping by this morning.
Sure, appreciate it. Thank you.
This has been the Mayor's Report with Marty Baker. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN.